How you doing, fight fans? EJ Boxing Live here. I'm here with James Ali Bashir, Wladimir Klitschko's assistant trainer, and he's just read an article that Evander Holyfield thinks that Freddie Roach should be his new trainer. So Mr. Bashir has something to say about it. Go ahead, Mr. Bashir. Share your thoughts.
I just think that Evander Holyfield has got it mixed up. He's a great boxer, but he's not a great thinker if he came out and said that, you know. First of all, Wladimir Klitschko was trained by Freddie Roach, or he had some kind of tenure with him early in his career. So what would change from that time until now? I don't think that Freddie Roach is going to make or break anybody concerning with Wladimir Klitschko. I don't think so. I think that Wladimir Klitschko is more apt to stay at this part of his career. I mean, you figure he'll be 40 years old the next time he steps in the ring. And by the time he gets on a new trainer, it'll be 2-3 years down the road. It takes time to get to know the people you're around.
I was going to say, in the background, what's in the background? Some noise in the background, Mr. Bashir. What's that, war?
Okay, I'll call you back. It's something I got to some water I got boiled with. I'll call you back.
Okay, I'll put it on pause for a minute. Now you can stay there. I'll put it on pause. All right, so we continue with Mr. Bashir. Go ahead, Mr. Bashir.
Where we at?
You was just breaking down why what Evander Holyfield, why he picked Freddie Roach, and you was just trying to say it's not a good idea, and you was explaining why.
It's not a good idea. What is Freddie Roach going to bring to Wladimir Klitschko at this point in his career? Mind you, Wladimir Klitschko has been around this game a long time. I've been with him as an assistant trainer for 13 years. I had a young man many years ago. I think the kid's name was Hassan Ali. Hassan Ali, I'm sure if you go to YouTube, you can find Freddie Roach versus Hassan Ali. And we boxed Freddie Roach in Atlantic City, and I thought Hassan beat him. I thought he beat him. So this goes back to show you how long I've been around boxing, training boxers. Mm-hmm. You understand? Mm. And then you're going to tell me that Freddie Roach is the guy? So that's like the 13 years I got with him, and the 18 years that I've got with Emanuel Stewart, and all the years that I put in before I even worked with Emanuel Stewart. Mm-hmm. I worked with Tommy Parks, Lee Black, Sam Solomon, you know, Eddie Aliano, you know, it's countless people, you know, Percy Richardson. I've worked with countless people. Walter Smith, Luther Burgess, Bill Miller. I've worked with countless trainers. So here comes Mr. Wise, Evander Holyfield says that, we should give Freddie Roach a training. So what is Freddie going to teach Wladimir Klitschko? Tell Wladimir Klitschko, do with Wladimir Klitschko that I can't do it, and I've been around 46 years. It's an insult. It's an insult. Evander Holyfield needs to think before he talks, or do some research before he talks. Trainers, we live in the time of the designer trainers. Mm-hmm. You know, where the trainers are all up in the camera trying to get a plug in. You understand? But you don't have the old school trainer now who worked in the background and let the fighter go up front. Now it's all about the trainer. The trainer got the Harry Houdini. The Harry Houdini of experience. I'll make this fighter better, or I'll make this fighter greater. No, it's the fighters. The fighters are the ones. They're the ones that's bringing the trainers to the forefront of boxing. Mm. The trainer is the guy who figures out the math problem. All right, he figures it out. He views it on the blackboard and says, "Oh, this is the problem. This is what we need to do to beat this fighter." And he gives it to his charge, the boxer. And the boxer is the one that has to go out in that ring and solve that problem. Mm. So in reality, the boxer has the job. He has the toughest part of the job. The trainer can draw us the pictures, say this is the problem, and this is how you solve it. Go solve it, son. And now you got somebody that says, Freddie Roach didn't. Well, Wladimir worked with Freddie Roach early in his career. Why are they together now?
That's true. Oh, they were really? They were early. He worked with Freddie.
Early, when Wladimir was trying to find his way in boxing, he and his brothers worked with Freddie Roach and numerous trainers. Tommy Brooks, Freddie Roach. They was going around searching around with different trainers and stuff. So I'm saying, what success has Freddie Roach had with heavyweights? Because surely you can't train a heavyweight the same way you train a lightweight. You understand? You have to apply different tactics with heavyweights, and then you apply with lightweights and flyweights and things. So what has he done? Who has Freddie Roach brought along? You know, as a fighter, who has he brought along? Or did people give him fighters that was already made?
Yeah. I mean, Virgil Hill was already made. You know, he was already made already. But so Evander Holyfield, what do you think? Why do you think Evander Holyfield did? He hasn't got no connection with Freddie Roach at all. I know he picked in the flyweight Manny Pacquiao fight. He thought Manny Pacquiao won the fight. Clearly, he said, you know, he had Manny Pacquiao winning the fight. I don't know, maybe him and Freddie reached out, and maybe it's a political move by Evander Holyfield. Maybe I'm not too sure.
I don't know, but Freddie. Evander. He's a great boxer. But having said that, he needs to sit down in a rocking chair and take some medication or something if he thinks that Pacquiao won the Mayweather fight.
Yeah,
what's wrong with that?
He said he clearly won the fight. You know, he won it. Yeah, he won it handy. He said Mayweather wasn't aggressive enough and he wasn't doing enough. So, you know, I don't know. And because after that, it was him and Skip Bailiff. They're the only two had Manny Pacquiao winning that fight. Actually, someone else had him winning. So I don't know. It was a political move, but you're not too happy about it, and you're not too happy about that. Obviously,
Freddie Roach just said that Cotto beat Canelo Alvarez. He said that his guy beat Canelo Alvarez. I don't see it.
What he's saying? He thought Cotto beat Alvarez.
Yeah.
No. I didn't. Hey, you know what? It was close though. I don't know. It was close though, because some people had it a draw. I had it by Alvarez by I think it was 1 or 2 rounds though. But it was close. It wasn't a blowout though.
It wasn't a blowout. But the guys said that they said that Freddie Roach could come in as a quick fix. It takes time to work with boxers. That's why I don't understand why. What was the hurry in Jennings fighting Ortiz? It takes time for a boxer and a trainer to really gel. So you take a couple of lesser fights, lesser pressure fights, where they can just gel, where they can get used to each other, and then you go out for the big fights.
Well, I saw an interview with Jennings, and Jennings talked about why did he pick that trainer. He said his lawyers. And he had a lot of people. You was right. He had a lot of people in his ears telling him, yeah, you should go with this guy. And he didn't want to take the fight. But HBO, they offered him the fight the first time. And they offered it again. And the people in his ears said, yeah, you should take the fight. You did well against Wladimir. And his lawyers, basically, Brian Jennings' lawyer said, yeah, you know what, we think John David Jackson will be a good trainer. He trained with him a bit and he thought he'd get along. So he's trying to say the loss wasn't on John J. Jackson. It wasn't really his fault. He said the loss was really on him and he shouldn't have took the fight. But he said the people around him he had a lot of yes people around him saying, yeah, you should do this, do that. Like what you were saying before. So he's not...
I thought, and now he says it's John David Jackson.
Yeah, but he's not going to put... He said he's not... I don't want to put the blame on John David Jackson. It's not his fault. He didn't know what he was going to get into. He puts it on himself, and he shouldn't have took the fight because he got offered the fight, and then he said, John David Jackson, do you want to be my trainer? He already agreed to take the fight. So at this point, he just brought John J. Jackson on that point. He said, yeah, okay, I'll take it. That's what happened there.
Right. Well, it takes adjusting, That's why I'm pointing out Freddie Roach would not be good for Wladimir Klitschko. Wladimir Klitschko is a family-oriented guy. You got to figure the people that's in that camp, Jonathan Banks and the other guys, myself, that's been there, Aldo Viteri, David Williams, the camp coordinator and cook. All of us guys, we've been there a long time. We've been there 12, 13 years. Mm-hmm. And this guy knows us well. It's like a family kind of thing. It doesn't mean that us being family makes it our training preparations any less intense. Lad was pointing out on the internet, mind you, that some things that he should or could have done in preparation that he didn't do. So maybe in his mind, he feels that he overlooked something. But Freddie Roach is not the answer. I've been training fighters long before Freddie Roach even thought about training fighters. You know what I'm saying? So, when does other people have a chance to train fighters? Freddie Roach is going to train all of the fighters in America and in the world, and Freddie Roach is going to train all the people, or either this other blue-collar guy or that other white-collar guy is going to train. What all the other trainers going to do? Sit back in the audience and eat popcorn?
Yeah, that's true. Well, HBO pushing that agenda. I mean, HBO... over there, Lamptey's married to one of Freddie Roach's niece or whatever, cousin, whatever. And every time there's something going on, go to Freddie Roach. Go Freddie Roach. They don't. Before it was Manny Stewart was. You need to go to Manny, and you used to go to Eddie Fudge. Eddie Fudge. They were pushing Eddie Fudge. They were pushing Eddie Fudge a lot of the time, and now it seems like Freddie's that dude. Robert Garcia. They don't even mention anyone else in boxing. As far as HBO, it's just Robert Garcia and Freddie Roach, and that's it. They don't give no credit to the Mayweathers. Yourself, you've been around the game.
I've been around a long time, but even the Garcias is not prepared to train heavyweights. Heavyweights, cruiserweights. You're talking about different animals here. You can't train a featherweight, a super featherweight, or welterweight the same way you train the cruiserweights and the heavyweights. It's a whole different animal here. Whole different application, whole different adjustment. You can't just jump in because they boxers and say, okay, this is how we do it. Like a one-size-fit-all thing. Freddie Roach don't work with no heavyweights. The Garcias don't work with no heavyweights. Very few of the trainers in the world today is prepared to work with heavyweights or cruiserweights. They're not prepared to do that. And when you look at them close up, they don't really know what they're doing. They just got a one-size-fit-all mentality.
It's a good point. It's a good point.
Yeah, I'm observing. I'm watching television. I'm viewing these fights. And they got the same attitude as though they were training a featherweight that they're applying to a heavyweight.
That don't work.
No, it doesn't work. It does not work. And most of them are not prepared, But I'm not going to sit back and just keep quiet.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that he's going to be a good trainer. I don't even think Wladimir Klitschko was interested in going outside of the circle. I don't get that impression. My thinking is that he'll choose Jonathan Banks to lead him in this rematch, or he'll choose me, one of the two of us.
Yeah.
He's not the kind of guy, and put it this way, he would shock me if he went outside of his circle. It would be a shock to say that, well, I'm going to get this guy, I'm going to get that guy to train me. Mm-hmm. It would be a really big shock to me.
Wow.
But I will say this here, he has to get it right in this rematch against Tyson Fury. He has to get it right. There's no room for failure. He has to get it right. He has to win the rematch. I think that is pretty much done.
Do you think he can?
Yeah, I think he can. I think that if he opens up and fights, if he opens up and takes the chances that he needs to take and fights, I think we'll win it.
But that's not him though, is it? I mean, if he does that's good. He's going into the unknown, really, because he's
Well, one thing is for certain: his back is to the wall. He got no other choice. You can't go back out there playing tit for tat. There's a lot of things that he could have did in the first fight that he could have or should have done in the first fight that he didn't even attempt to do, in my mind.
Yeah. And
those things I will not point out here in this interview because those things will most likely help him win the rematch. But at the same time, with all respect due to Tyson Fury and team, they're going to get better too. They're going to get better. They're working too. They're going to train too. They're going to prepare too. They're going to use more of the things that helped them win the first fight.
Yeah.
So the second fight gonna be a hot fight. The second fight gonna be a hot fight because we must win the second fight. So there's a must win. So it's gonna be a hot fight. I'm expecting a really good fight. The fight that I was expecting in the first fight will most likely happen in the second fight.
Definitely. I think so as well. You're right, man. So Evander Holyfield, in your opinion, should what?
He should get in a rocking chair and take some medication if he thought that Manny Pacquiao won the first fight with Floyd Mayweather. Shit, he's a good fighter, but he ain't no good thinker. He need to keep quiet. Talking about Freddie Roach training Wladimir Klitschko. Is he high? Just say no to drugs, Evander. What are you talking about?
Have you met Evander Holyfield at all?
Yeah, I met him before. But I'm saying he's a good boxer, but stay in your lane, man.
Oh man.
When a person stay in their lane, it ain't no traffic. Even in our traffic, you be subject to have an accident or something. Come on, Freddie Roach. What is Freddie Roach? The Harry Houdini of boxing? Ain't no other trainers around? There's thousands of trainers in the world, Every trainer got a different approach. It's only something with the man thing. The boxing trainer is the guy who's going to go out there and figure these problems out. And then when he figure out the opponent that he's fighting, then he's going to go back to the fighter and say, this is what we need to do to win. But still, the boxer has to get in that ring and follow the instructions of the trainer. They have to follow the instructions. So you got the trainer on one end, he views the tapes, he views the fighter, and say, okay, this is how we can win. And he gives that problem, that math problem, he gives it to the the boxer. And then the boxer got to go in that ring and solve that math problem. Come up with the answer to it. And that's not always that easy. This is a joke. Boxing is a joke because there's no criteria for being a boxing trainer. You got people coming from everywhere talking about their boxing training. They have worked with a junior Olympian 1 week, and then 2 weeks later you see them in the corner as a trainer for a professional fighter. And I think the biggest problem here is that the boxers themselves allows this bullshit.
Yeah. Well,
they allow it. They don't question the credentials of the people that's in their corners. They don't question no credentials. You got people that's working with amateur boxers 6 months. And then 6 months later, they're in the corner of a professional fighter giving him advice when his life is on the line.
Yeah, I'm looking at the article now. Right now, what you're talking about. So Evander Holyfield suggests that Wladimir should hire Freddie Roach after the loss, and former heavyweight. Yeah, you need someone in the corner that you can respect. Otherwise, you won't listen to your coach, and you won't get the best out of him. That's what he's saying. Vladimir's last trainer, Emmanuel Stewart. Yeah, fighters respect him, but he does not apply to every trainer. I would suggest that include Freddie Roach in his corner. So that's Evander Holyfield's take. Yeah, that's what he said. That's what he's saying.
I'm trying to figure out what is Freddie Roach going to tell Wladimir Klitschko that I wouldn't tell him, or what Jonathan Banks wouldn't tell him. What is he going to do? What is he going to come up with something new? Some kind of new deep science? No, that's that. I don't know, boss mentality. Let me go to boss and I'll check with boss, and then boss will tell me what I need to do. No, I don't think like that. I spent my life being a boxing trainer. I've worked a lot of corners, and I'm thankful for that because I learned a lot. And I've worked with some great trainers over the years. And it's not always what you know, it's the ability to apply what you know. A lot of trainers know, but they don't have application. A lot of trainers have application, but they don't know. So it's trying to combine the two and make the best of it in a particular fight.
So listen to this. So he was saying, in his opinion, that Klitschko doesn't respect Jonathan Banks. What's your take on what he's saying about that? You know, someone he respect. And now, bearing in mind, now there's certain things that, you know, let's use the Jennings fight, that Wladimir maybe was not more receptive to that. Would you agree with his opinion, maybe his opinion assessment of that maybe Jonathan Banks could get the best of him? What was your assessment? What's your assessment of that? Or will Jonathan Banks get the best out of him in the next fight? That's fair. It's a fair question.
I really don't think that Wladimir Klitschko is in a position now where he can go with maybe. He's got to be confident and comfortable in the decision that he's going to make about who's going to train him in the next fight. Again, I'll say that he has to be confident and comfortable with who he is going to decide to train him in the very next fight.
Okay.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
So having said that, him and Jonathan have known each other for a long time. And maybe they're, not say disrespect, but I think that he's a little too comfortable maybe with Jonathan. Maybe just a little too comfortable with them. And Jonathan may not be getting through as hard as he may be trying. He may not be getting through.
Mm.
So Evander said that he respects more. I wouldn't use those words. I would say someone that can tap into his emotion and send an alarm signal that, hey, we need to get busy here. Something that I think should have been done between the first and third rounds of that fight.
Well, this is what Evander Holyfield was saying. Otherwise, it's just barely going to be the same. It's going to be the same thing, man. You know, the same result going to be happening. You need someone. I mean, Vitaly was up in there trying to get, you know, Vitaly up in there. His brother couldn't get him motivated. Jonathan Banks was saying the same thing. So you need someone to, you know. But maybe the adjustments in terms of, you know, Fury getting in his head, and, you know, remember he had an injury as well. So maybe like he'd be more comfortable coming into this fight with everything settled. But the Furies are not going to make it easy though, because they're the champion now.
No, they're not going to make it easy. I wouldn't expect for them. I wouldn't expect for them to make it easy.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to try to make it as hard as they can.
Yeah.
They want to hold on to the championship of the world. So I would think they would try to make it as hard as they can.
Yeah.
You know, and not look for favors. Nobody's going to give a guy a favor. They got the title, and their job now is to maintain the title, to keep the title. You know, so I think that the fight is going to be difficult. But having said that, Wladimir Klitschko is going to have to be happy and content and comfortable with the decisions that he makes about who's going to train him. That's all I'm saying. He's got to be comfortable with it. And whenever he's comfortable with it, then let's roll.
Yeah.
But he's got to make a decision. He's got to get it right. That's for sure. There's no more room. His back is to the wall. There's no more room for mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to get it right.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, but I don't think that going outside of the envelope trying to find a new trainer at this point in his career is going to help anything. I don't think that Freddie Roach is going to come in and be able to tell Wladimir Klitschko anything that Jonathan Banks or myself is not telling. You know? We've been with him for 13 years. 12, 13 years, something of that nature. So what are we, dummies?
But you know the thing is, yeah, have you noticed though, like, when things are, you see what you just said there earlier on, actually maybe we was talking off air, with talking about another fighter. When something goes wrong, then they do a diagnosis check. Well, something's going on with Wladimir. Now other people are doing their assessment. They're feeling like, well, boys, we need to change the whole thing. Maybe we need to change the whole thing around. Maybe we need to add some pieces, you know. So that's what other people's is take on. They feel, especially Evander Holyfield. I mean, Evander Holyfield. A lot of people would, you know, because he knows boxing, but you yourself are in the corner. But I agree with you though. Why does it have to be just Freddie Roach? Why can't it be other trainers? If he's just alright, so let's leave Freddie Roach out there, and let's leave yourself out. Who would you suggest? Who would you suggest if it weren't yourself and leave Freddie?
I would suggest that Wladimir Klitschko find somebody that he's comfortable with them giving instructions. All right. If he's going to remove Jonathan Banks, I would say that, hey, find somebody that you're comfortable with, them giving you these instructions, and you go on with them. You take, for instance, Evander Holyfield had one of the best old school trainers in his corner when he fought James Toney. He had Don Turner in his corner.
Yeah, Don Turner. Yeah.
Did Don Turner do him any good that night when he was fighting James Toney?
No, he didn't. Did he have
All right. He didn't have Don Turner in his corner. So, I mean, what are you saying? I mean, what is Evander Holyfield saying? What is he saying? He had one of the best trainers in the corner that night and got his ass whooped. All right? Embarrassingly whooped. And then got mad with the trainer because the trainer pulled the plug on the fight. He stopped the fight.
Yeah.
And he didn't speak to Don Turner for a long time thereafter because I talked to Don. Don said Evander won't talk to him.
Well, he had Georgie. Yeah, but he did the right thing. He had Georgie Benn. Was Georgie Benn in the corner as well?
No.
Georgie Benn probably passed away by then, but he was what? He was what? I say that again. He didn't talk to Don Turner for a long time after that. What the hell?
No. What? I talked to Don Turner. I talked to Don, and Don told me that Evander had not spoken to him for a long time thereafter.
Man, that's crazy. He did the right thing, man. That fight needed to be stopped. He was getting his ass whooped out there, man.
Yes.
He was getting a whooping. James Toney was embarrassing him. Of all the things Evander Holyfield did, he was embarrassing in the fight. That wasn't in a. Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'm.
So would you insinuate that changing trainers is going to make a difference? And if you do, then why would you go outside of the envelope when you got Jonathan Banks there? And if you're not going to use Jonathan Banks, then okay, then I'll use Bashir. I'll use Bashir. He's very comfortable around either one of us. But I'm going to apply myself differently. If I was chosen to do the job, I would apply myself differently. I'm not trying to make friends with no boxer in the corner. I'm trying to get the best results, the much needed results from a boxer in the corner. So I'm going to step to him and I'm going to tell him this is what we need to do. And I'm not going to wait the 6 or 7 or 8 rounds to do it. I'm going to do it in the first 3 rounds. No. This has got to stop and this is what needs to be done. That's how trainers train boxers.
Yeah.
Whether they like it or not, you got to tell them. You know, and not to say that Jonathan Banks did tell him. But sometimes the way you apply yourself gets the results or gets non-results. You know?
I agree.
Sometimes you got to step on the gas and say, hey, whoa, we got to stop this now. We need to address this problem now. Right after the first, second round, definitely. We need to address this problem now.
Yeah, well,
there's a few things that I saw in that fight that Wladimir Klitschko never attempted to do that should be done, that could be done. But he never attempted to do some things in that fight. I would have him do.
Yeah, well, listen, like you said, man, if he starts going out of his comfort zone, man, I don't like that one. If he feels like he has to change things up, man, I don't like the chances on that one. But but that's what he needs to do when he fights Fury. He'll take chances maybe.
Well, I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a rocket scientist or some kind of a surgeon to tell you that you've run out of options here. You got to fight. You got to fight. Right? You got to fight. You got to go in the ring and you got to fight Tyson Fury. You got to fight. There's no other options I see. Now, the way you fight, you can apply different tactics, but you got to fight. It's going to boil down to a fight. This is going to be a very interesting fight in this rematch. Because Tyson Fury and company is going to get better. They're not going to get worse. They got the world championship. They're going to get better.
Yeah, well.
They must be thinking if we can beat Klitschko twice, we can ride into history.
Yeah. Well, I think, you know what? I know Mr. Bashir, you work with him, but I'm picking Fury. I think Fury can, he's gonna do the stuff, man. He's, another thing as well. you guys are on the opposite end now. You know, you guys are on the opposite end, so
nobody can blame you for what you think, because most of the boxing pundits around the world is probably thinking the same thing. That Wladimir Klitschko is not, or he cannot get better. Fury takes the rematch, you know, and I've heard people say Fury can stop him in the rematch, you know, so you can't blame people for thinking like that.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can blame people for thinking like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's our position to go in there and prove them wrong. You know, to go in there and prove them wrong. But it's going to be a tough fight.
Well, yeah.
It's going to be a tough fight. You know, it's going to be a tough fight. There's no two ways about it. It's going to be a tough fight. We're going to be in there with the best Tyson Fury. And he's going to be much more relaxed.
Well, would you like? Are you going to have any input in say in terms of what's going on or anything?
Wladimir Klitschko said that he's going to restructure the way things are done in the camp. So we have to wait and find out what that restructuring is. I think he said it on LinkedIn or one of the other websites where he wants to do things differently. He wants to restructure. So I don't know. Nobody knows at this point what that restructuring is about. So we have to wait and find out.
Okay.
But he gets chosen to exercise his right to the rematch, and in doing so, the fight is on. You know, so we got to get busy and try to find a way to beat this young man.
Yeah. What would you? All right, going into the camp, right? What do you think, in your opinion, what you need to make him? What you need will help the champ, the former champ, help to get him over this hill here? Or can you tell us, like, what do you think, in your opinion, what would definitely work? It will definitely impact.
I wouldn't talk about it now because I'm going to need to beat Big Head.
All right, fair enough. Because you know what I was thinking? You know, like something just give him that new adrenaline stuff. That we put this in the camp, we definitely go and win. You know, whether it's this guy in sparring or this guy that. Because the thing is, yeah, you know, being the champ. When I think about the champ, and I was thinking about Dillian White, and this is why I put Dillian White. He's around some of the best sparring partners in the world. Come all the way down to Munich and wherever you are. The best sparring partners. You being the heavyweight champion. You know, if your heavyweight champion will said, yeah, come, we want you to spar him. You know, everyone's gonna be licking their chops to come down there to spar with the champ. So I'm thinking, is it sparring partners? Is it this? Is it that? So okay, if you don't want to, obviously you don't want to tell me, but he needs something over there because the Fury right now, he's got more money to invest in terms of better sparring partners and everything now. They're all going to be coming out to help him though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be something. It's going to be a really big test, probably the biggest test of Wladimir Klitschko's career.
Mm-hmm.
To come back and beat a boxer puncher as Tyson Fury is. You know, it's going to be a really, really big test.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if Wladimir Klitschko's game, then I'm game. I want to be right there to help him, you know? It's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Tyson Fury is an interesting person, an interesting character, interesting boxer. And he's for real, you know? We realize that he's for real. We realized that prior to the fight. Mm-hmm. Despite what the press says or what the press clip says, I told anybody that would listen that I was very concerned about that fight. Prior to the fight, I took him very serious. Mm-hmm. In other interviews, I told every interview, I took him very serious, and I take him very serious now. He's going to get better. He's going to get better. You know, we've got a fight on our hands.
Okay, yeah. Oh well, but you know, well, this is well, that's it. Well, Evander Holyfield, you right? So in closing, Evander Holyfield should keep his nose out and what else? In closing, what would you say?
Holyfield got no idea what he's talking about. But I'm just trying to make sense to the listening audience. Mm. What in the world could Freddie Roach bring to the equation at this point in Wladimir Klitschko's career? And we've been around this guy for the last 13 years. What is he going to do? What is he going to tell him that Banks or myself can't tell him? Nothing. He can't bring nothing else to the table. You understand? He can't bring nothing. In my opinion, Freddie Roach is the reason that Manny Pacquiao was knocked out by one Manuel Marquez. Because Freddie Roach was so gung-ho and wanted to get that KO so bad that he basically ran Manny Pacquiao into one Manuel Marquez right hand that knocked Pacquiao out.
I was watching, you know what, talking about that, coincidentally, I was watching that fight yesterday. Now, so let's go back to that, right? So when Freddie Marquez knocked down Freddie, when Marquez knocked down Freddie, Pacquiao came back. When Pacquiao knocked him down, Pacquiao was coming back. Pacquiao knocked him back, he was coming back. When Pacquiao did what he normally did, he jumped in because Marquez was hurt. But I don't think that was Freddie, though. I'm not too sure that was Freddie.
No, it was prior to the fight.
Oh, prior to the fight. Are you talking about?
He kept saying that
okay.
Pacquiao was going to knock out Marquez. Pacquiao was going to knock out Marquez. Pacquiao was going to knock out. Instead of telling Pacquiao in the corner, hey, this guy's busted up, just keep boxing him, keep circling him and boxing him, and they're going to stop this fight. They're going to stop that fight.
Oh, I'm with you now. Okay.
If you look at that fight, but he kept telling him, put the pressure on, go to him, back him up. That's what he kept telling him.
Oh, okay.
He didn't say, circle him, box him, they're going to stop this fight. So he seduced Pacquiao into thinking that the knockout is coming, and he got him knocked out.
Oh.
You understand? So in my mind, that happened. But I'm saying, looking back on Freddie Roach's career as a trainer, who has Freddie Roach brought from scratch? From the very beginning. Who did he make?
Yeah, that's a good one.
He's working with people who have given him. Over the years, people said, if you want to get something done with the fighter, take him to Freddie Roach. But what fighter has he made? Say, for instance, he bought a fighter, the fighter had 10 fights. Okay, he's got 10 fights. But Freddie always had guys that was already at the top of their careers. So it's easy to look good with guys that already have the desire and know how to fight. Than it is when you're trying to take a fighter from the very beginning. And I work with two notable guys. Dale Jackson out of Chicago. He fought Michael Nunn for the mandatory spot. Worked with Dale Jackson. I worked with Maurice Harris. I had to work with those guys from the very beginning when they was, when Maurice had 10 losses when I took Maurice on, and I took him to some of his biggest fights, so I had to work with those guys, but I learned a lot working with those guys, Dale Jackson and Maurice Harris. Those are the most notable guys that I worked that close with as a trainer, but I learned so much in working with them. So many ins and outs, the different camps and stuff we worked in. I had Maurice Harris working in the Lennox Lewis camp and in the Mike Tyson camp. And working in the camps, I was exposed to a lot of other trainers and stuff. And even prior to that, I had worked with some good trainers. So you learn different things along the way. I was even there in the wild card gym when Freddie Roach had James Toney. I took Maurice Harris to the wild card gym in Los Angeles, and Maurice politely gave James Toney a calculated whooping out there. You understand? Because James Toney tried to disrespect Maurice. I stopped the sparring, said, come to the corner. Maurice came to the corner and said, listen, go out there and kick his ass because this guy's not showing you no respect. He's a cruiserweight, you're a heavyweight, go out there and whoop on his ass. And that's what Maurice Harris did.
Yeah, James Toney's like that. He's rude like that, ain't he? He rude.
Oh man! I remember years ago. Even that time, at that time, it was that time or another time. I was there in the wild card gym, and Ola Afolabi was just starting to box. I don't even think Ola Afolabi had a pro fight yet. James Toney beat this kid up.
Really?
Yeah. I was present in the gym, and James Toney beat up Ola Afolabi.
Was at the Wild Card Gym, yeah?
At the Wild Card Gym.
Yeah, he's out.
James, because Ola was getting the best of James that day.
Yeah.
And James walked in the corner while they was attending to Ola, giving him water, getting water. So he hit him from the behind. And then when Ola turned around, James commenced to beating on him. And Michael Moore had to get in the ring. Somebody else had to pull James Toney off of Ola. And then Ola, being as tough as he is, Ola said, hey, man, we can finish if you want. You know, James Toney went wild in the gym that day, throwing chairs and acting crazy wild. So I said, okay, you know. Then he says to Maurice Harris, whoop your ass and the bald-headed guy's ass. I said, okay.
What, talking to you?
Yeah. I said, okay, just be here tomorrow at 3 o'clock, and we'll continue to whoop your ass.
Hey.
Yeah. You know, oh, man, this guy was wild and crazy, man, you know. But that's what happened. Yeah.
He got no respect, man.
No, he got no respect. He got no respect. The dude is wild and crazy, man, you know. He's a good fighter, but outside of the deal, that's it, you know.
Yeah. Ain't got no
But
time.
I had, and not only did Maurice Harris whoop on James Toney, that he whooped on the White Buffalo too. James, Franz Botha. Abel Sanchez had Franz Botha there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Maurice beat up everybody in that gym out there. Everybody in the gym that wanted something, Harris gave it to him. All right.
But that's why you're upset that Harris didn't make it into something.
Oh yeah, he was a heck of a talent. I mean, you know, you ask anybody around in that era, any heavyweights around that knew Harris, they can tell you that he was a hell of a fighter. He was a hell of a fighter, and I was proud to say that I was right there from the very beginning.
Yeah,
I worked with him. He only had 5 or 6 amateur fights, and I had him in those amateur fights, and then he disappeared. And next time I saw him, he was 16 years old with 10 fights. He had lost 7 fights. So, yeah, he came back and he had about 10 losses or something when I took him to Don King. I put him in the first fight we had together. I put him in the box. David Eisen ready.
Yeah, David Eisen. Yeah, David Eisen.
Yeah, and Maurice beat him. You know, that was our first fight together. You know, they put him in with David Eisen and Maurice beat him. And then after that, we fought a guy, Sam Hampton and Jimmy Thunder, and Harris just kept on beating these big name fighters. So my working with him obviously improved him. You know, but you never know until you have to fight from the bottom up. When nobody is giving you big name fights, you take what you got and you try to turn them into a star.
Okay.
You know?
Well, hey, Mr. Bashir, man, well, you can give us some insight into it. Well, the champ. Hopefully the champ's gonna keep everyone in the house, and Evander Holyfield should mind his own business, right?
Evander Holyfield should just go sit in a rocking chair and take some medication or something.
Oh gosh!
You know, what is he talking about, Freddie Roach? I mean, who is he to come along? And he hasn't done no research.
Nah.
No research about who's in Wladimir Klitschko's corner. He hasn't done no research. He was a good fighter. But he's no kind of, what is he, some kind of orator now? Where he's giving people, what is he, some kind of advisor?
No.
I don't think so. I think that he needs to sit back and do some research before he opens his mouth about who should train who.
Yeah. Well.
You know, I would be very upset at this point. You know, if some person from the outside, what I view an outside at this point, and then I would be very upset about that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think that nobody can come in and tell Wladimir. Vladimir's an educated guy, first of all. He understands. When I say educated, I'm talking about boxing.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about his degrees and all that. I'm talking about he's educated when it comes to the business and the sport of boxing. He's no dummy. He understands what needs to be done. The only thing I want him to do is to be comfortable in the decision that he makes about who's going to train him. Once he tells me I'm comfortable, I'm happy about my decision, then let's go. That's my thinking. Let's go do it. You know, but we're in a tough fight. I'll be the first to tell him that we're in a tough fight when we go against Tyson Fury and company in the next fight. You know, because I'm paying attention to Peter and those other guys around him, as I did in the first fight.
Yeah.
I have respect for him in the first fight. You don't get to be undefeated, you know, coming up, you know, unless you're doing something right. So I'm watching out because these guys are going to go back to the drawing board and they're going to get better. They're not going to be easy. They're going to get better. So by him winning the first fight, I think that Wladimir let the genie out the bottle. Now getting that genie back in the bottle is going to be a very, very tough task. You know, and I'll be the first to tell him.
All right.
It'll be a very, very tough task.
Cool. All right, Mr. Bashir, man. We'll wrap up, man. This is a 45-minute interview with Mr. James Ali Bashir. Take on Evander Holyfield's take, suggesting that Freddie Roach should be in the corner, and Mr. Bashir's gave his take on that. So, Mr. Bashir, anything else you want to say to the fight fans before we sign off?
Just be relaxed and be careful out there. Don't drink and drive and all those good things. I know that this is the time of a new year coming in, so don't drink and drive and don't talk and drive. Don't listen to the radio dial and don't be doing the cell phones. Pay attention to what you're doing and get a designated driver. You know, pay attention to what you're doing and be a day, because I like to see all you guys and girls in the new year. So just take it easy, be respectful on the road. Watch out for the other guy. And watch out for Evander Holyfield, because he like to come up and tell you some drunk stuff too. You know, can you see me? Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you clear as day, man.
In Ukraine, this means. Can you see this?
Yeah, I can see that phone. Yeah. What's that?
Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see that.
In Ukraine, this means you get nothing.
It means what?
You get nothing.
Oh, you get nothing. Sticking the thumb. He's got his thumb between the top finger and the lower finger. It means you get nothing. All right, Mister.
That's what Evander Holyfield gets.
He gets nothing. Okay. All right, man. Take care, Mr. Bear. I'll say, God bless. Bye.
DJ Boxing Live here. DJ Boxing Live here.
Buster Douglas knocked him out. Buster Douglas, the fat bump, the legend.
Yo, this is Chris Caban chilling with my man EJ Boxing Live, one of the hottest, dopest boxing channels on YouTube. Check him out.
The boxing beats and rounds on the EJ Live YouTube channel.
And Bashir was the number 10 rated contender, and he had never been knocked down. And Sonny destroyed his mouth. Bashir lost most of his teeth, basically with one or two left hooks.
Oh shit, boy! What was look at kids sleeping like Manny Pacquiao?
DJ Boxing Live here. DJ Boxing Live here.